He was mentioned quite a bit, and they find... I really don't want to give spoilers. Hey, this is Megan in the restricted section. Today I'm going to do a review of Acceptance by Jeff Vandermeer, which is the third book in the Southern Reach trilogy. I reviewed the first two books in the trilogy, so I thought that I would just see it through. So I'll link those two videos below if you guys are interested and you want to check those out. So this third book, I think, is my second favorite of the trilogy. The first one was definitely my favorite. I think that one was the best one. The second one was not bad, but it was my least favorite of the three. So in this third one, in Acceptance, Area X has expanded, and Area X is this geographical anomaly. Some catastrophic event happened in Area X, and then that area has been closed off to human habitation for about 30 years. So the borders of Area X have been marked off, and outside the borders of Area X is what's called the Southern Reach, which is the governmental agency that studies Area X. So that was laid down in the first two books. So what happens in the third book is the borders of Area X have expanded, and have... There might be some spoilers in this video because I don't know really how to review this one without spoiling the first two novels. So that's just a forewarning. So if you guys don't want spoilers for the first, particularly the second novel, maybe stop watching until after you've read them. So the borders of Area X have expanded, and they have engulfed what was the Southern Reach. So in Acceptance, Control from the second novel and the biologist-ish and the assistant director are all in Area X, and it bounces back and forth. There are chapters where those three are in Area X and they're exploring, and their whole purpose, I guess, is to try to figure out again what the fuck is going on, but then also what caused Area X to happen and to what end. So the book bounces back and forth between those chapters, and then there are two characters that have flashback chapters. So the former director of the Southern Reach, the one that had, disappeared in the second novel when Control took over, she's got some flashback chapters to when she was still at the Southern Reach, before she's pieced out. And then also the Lighthouse keeper has some flashback chapters. He was mentioned quite a bit in the other two books, and they do find a photo of him and a young girl in the old lighthouse in Area X. And so this book he has his own, flashback chapters to before Area X even happened. And so you kind of get that perspective. I think those were like my favorites. Honestly, the story of the Lighthouse Keeper was probably, my favorite storyline in this book. It was just cool to read back before Area X happened. And I really liked him as a character anyway, so I really enjoyed those chapters. So this book was pretty good. I liked it. The ending was not as satisfying as I would have liked for it to be, because it does explain why Area X was created and kind of to what end. But it doesn't really give you any closure on what happens to the characters. So it kind of ends a little open-ended for them. You don't really know how things turn out. So yeah, you get to find out why Area X is the way it is, and that's fine, but I would have liked to have known, kind of how things panned out for these guys, since I've, spent 3 books reading about them. But that's fine. Jeff Vandermeer, that's cool. Appreciate ya. This book did kind of jump around a lot. Like I said, there are 2 characters with flashback chapters, and then there's like the current, like in the now narrative. So at times it was kind of a little hard to follow, just because the timeline in it is just, you know, it goes from current to just a little bit in the past to current to way in the past to current. So it was a little bit, it jumped around a little bit. But as usual, I mean, I really like Jeff Vandermeer's writing. He writes very well, and I did, you know, the same sense of foreboding kind of continued into this novel that existed in the previous two. And again, I do feel like these books kind of, it's hard to pin down a genre for them because they are kind of like sci-fi, horror, weirdness. So ultimately, I did really enjoy the trilogy. I was not overall thrilled with the ending, but that's fine, I guess. One thing that I thought was cool about this book is you discover some connections that you didn't realize existed previously. And that's, I guess, the best way to say it without spoiling it. So that's kind of cool. It's a lot more interconnected than you first think, so that's pretty neat. You also get to find out some more about Control's family, like his mother and her involvement with the Southern Reach and with Area X, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, like I said, honestly, the Lighthouse Keeper's storyline was one of my favorite parts of this book. He obviously kept the lighthouse in Area X before the event happened, which caused Area X to occur. And he was actually living there when that event happened. So eventually in his, you know, storyline, you do reach that point where you kind of find out what the catalyst was for Area X and what it was like for the people living there when it came down. And you get a first-person view into it from his eyes. So you also get to find out some secrets about the previous director of the Southern Reach and kind of some things that she kept hidden from everyone, and how that influenced the turn of events that happened. So that was pretty cool. I feel like a lot more could have been done, like with the explanation for why Area X happened. I feel like Jeff Vandermeer could have gone a little further with that, or, you know, maybe the ending could have been a little further reaching and a little bit more complete, I thought. But, I mean, overall, I did really enjoy this trilogy. Like I said, I would like to have known what happened to the characters, but it's whatever. One thing that I had noticed was on the back of these books, it says, visit southernreachtrilogy.com for interactive maps, reading group guides, and more. So I did that. I checked it out, and I thought it was going to be a lot cooler than it turned out to be, unfortunately. I got really excited with the whole interactive maps thing because I really like the lore that accompanies books. I like to get sucked into that whole world, which I think is part of the reason why I love Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter so much, because there's so much to get sucked into, and there's these huge worlds and with all the lore and all this awesome stuff, to where, like, even when you're done with the books, you're not really done. You can still be immersed in that world. And so I really like that. So I got super geeked with the interactive maps thing, and it's really not that cool. So if you want to check it out, I mean, maybe I'm not super tech savvy, so maybe I'm missing it, but, you know, check it out. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think I'm full of shit. Also, if you guys read this, if you guys, you know, complete the trilogy, please let me know what you thought about it. I would love to talk with you about it. Especially if you've already read it, because that way I know I won't spoil it for you. So comment below if you have. Soon I have some cool stuff coming up in the restricted section. I think we have a couple of tag videos still left to do, so that's going to be pretty awesome. We like doing those. They're fun. So pretty excited about that. We're working on creating a new tag right now that should be pretty funny. Might be a little offensive, but will definitely be funny. So stay tuned for that. As usual, I will post some links down below where you can find us elsewhere on social media. I'm also going to put my Snapchat username down below, so if you want to Snapchat me, cool. Mostly I just, again, just pictures of my dogs, really, so if that's what you're into. But yeah, so thanks for watching, thank you for subscribing, and we'll see you next time.